Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Waypoint. Today I'm going to be talking in a normal voice instead of that weird one. And we're going to be playing Trackmania because I was like, I still don't know what to record for the Weekly Waypoint. I'm still in that single mindset RuneScape funk. Well, it's not a funk, it's kind of funky, but in a good way. But I was like, I don't know what to record for the Weekly Waypoint. And then I realized, Trackmania! We haven't seen the summer tracks yet, not that we saw much of the spring tracks. And yeah, Trackmania is pretty consistently a fun time. If you have not yet given it a whirl, I do implore you to give it a whirl. One of the things I want to talk about this week is something I brought up last week, which is the FanFest announcement that Xbox and Square Enix were friends again, they were buddies again, and they were going to bring over Final Fantasy games, quote, where possible, to Xbox. And the reason I want to bring it up again is because I have had a bit of a change of heart regarding my stance on the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. I recently mentioned that they seemed like a pasted in plain text version of each of the single games, and that the games don't look like they have any kind of differentiation between their appearances. Like, a screenshot from 3 to be initiated looks the same as a screenshot from 6, which wouldn't be the case with most other versions. But Gerard the Completionist put out a video about Final Fantasy II, which, by the way, is really fun because Final Fantasy II gets very much overlooked out of all of the Final Fantasies. Now, I'm not a Final Fantasy veteran. I've never finished a Final Fantasy, apart from 14 if you count Endwalker as an end of the game, which I think you should. But I have had experience of playing games that people just don't talk about in, like, spheres. Like, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example now. Dragon Age Inquisition would be written off, right, as like, oh, you know, it's okay, it's better than 2, but it's still not a great Dragon Age game. Did I say Dragon Quest? I always do this. But that's a game that I've put about 20 hours into and really enjoyed my time with. And Final Fantasy II, according to Gerard the Completionist, very much seems like another one of those games. And I'm excited to hear that because whenever I've been looking at reviews of the Pixel Remaster games, they're always like, yeah, you probably want to play 4 or 6, or maybe 3, you know, and it makes me think like, well, that's a shame because I would like to play and enjoy all of them. And as I've already discovered when playing the PSP version of Final Fantasy 1, of which 3 videos are available to watch on this channel of me playing, I've always been like, well, you know, what's being sold to me is 6 Final Fantasy games, and it would be a shame if most of them weren't worth playing. But I think we get too tied up in the popular opinion sometimes, and it was really fun to see him play through Final Fantasy 2 and give his thoughts on it and make it seem like a game that would be fun to approach and play. So yeah, I really want the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters at this point, and I could get them. I could go to Steam and I could start buying them for not too much money each. I'm glad you don't have to buy them all in a great big bundle. But here's the thing, I don't want to play them on Steam because at this point in my life I don't really care about Steam achievements, and achievement hunting is something I enjoy in video games. It's, you know, a lot of people don't give a shit about achievements. I'm one of those people who doesn't like stake their entire experience around them, but definitely much has an enhanced experience when there's an easily, like, perfectable, like, achievement route throughout a game. In other words, I really want these bloody things on Xbox, and I don't know whether I should be holding out for them to appear on Xbox at some time in the near future, or if I should just cave and buy them on Steam. What should I do? I don't know. Should I continue playing Dragon Quest instead of suddenly wanting to play some Final Fantasy games? Probably. Am I going to do that? No. I have ADHD. Keep up. I did consider playing some more Dragon Quest 7 yesterday, but then I considered where I was and I went, and I think that's usually a sign that, like, oh, this game's going away for a few months. And then later on I'll be like, what was I doing in Dragon Quest 7? And I'll play it and pick it up again, and then I'll play like another 5 hours. Yeah, this game's going to take me my lifetime to complete, I think. But yeah, what do I do about Final Fantasy? Do I wait until they come to Xbox? What if they never come to Xbox? What if they're not on the cards for coming to Xbox? What if there's some weird exclusivity deal that we don't know about which is going to prevent them from coming to Xbox? What if they're practically the only Final Fantasy games that can come to Xbox, and it's 7 Remake and 16 and 7 the Remake 2 or whatever it's called that have a exclusivity deal? Should I stay or should I go? Do. Indecision plagues me. A wise man would just keep playing like the PSP versions or whatever and save the money, but, you know, I do like achievements and I do like rewarding developers for actually re-releasing their old games. Or I guess it's publishers I'm rewarding in that case. But it's like a new version of those games, so they must have had their own developers. Anyway, that's enough on Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. Baldur's Gate 3 came out this week, and if you're wondering why I'm not talking about Baldur's Gate 3, it's because I have no money. Please do not at me, I'm going to cry. I did dip my toe into Dragon Age Origins to try and get a similar feel. There's plenty of games I could try and get a similar feel for. I normally do a terrible job of convincing myself to wait on a game that I want to buy when it comes out, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job this time around. I think Diablo 4 burned me a little bit because I thought it would last longer than it has. But every time I open that game now, I just want to be doing anything else. I would rather chew cardboard than play Season 1 of Diablo 4 right now. Anyway, Dragon Age Origins, I did dip my toe into. And I got to the point that I usually get to, but I actually made a video out of it this time, so instead of having to start a new save for the 15th time next time, I could just make the video, remind myself what happened as I make the video, and then continue my save on from there, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. I might also just keep playing it, but I am also, I think I downloaded last night Yakuza Like a Dragon, the Yakuza series, or Yakuza? Should I be saying Yakuza? I'm gonna call it Yakuza. It's fine. It's fine. I've only ever played I don't know, 5-10 hours of Yakuza 0, and I really enjoyed what I've played of it, but again, attention span is a thing in short order right now, or ever, and I'm also not really into, I mean, what would you even call that kind of game? I feel like my friend would be like, it's not a fighting game, it's a character action game. But they say that about every fighting style game. But yeah, I'm not hugely into that style of gameplay. I just really liked the world and story. You know, some of the zaniness was a little over the top, but I was enjoying it. But I listened to the Core podcast, and someone there, Bo, was talking about Yakuza Like a Dragon, and it sounds like that's gonna be my kind of I mean, I haven't played it yet, I might not like it, but if there's going to be any entry point into the Yakuza world, I know I keep pronouncing it differently, shut up, it would probably be that one, because that one's a proper turn-based thing, and I knew that already, of course, but what I didn't know is that as comedic as it appears on the surface, apparently it has some really heavy story as it goes on, and that shit appeals to me. I really like the sound of that. And it just, apparently it's a really fun game, so yeah, turn-based RPG mode Yakuza game, that's going to be the one I play, I think. So I guess I'll report back next week on that one if I'm not too wrapped up in Necromancy, which is releasing 25 minutes from my current state of recording. In RuneScape, that is. I should elaborate, not real life, sadly. Necromancy is still not an art that has been released to us mortals here in real life, otherwise well, I wouldn't be making YouTube videos, would I? I'd be taking over the world, come on. Let's talk about the channel for a moment. The channel has had another excellent week. The Good Omens video is pushing 4,000 views. Actually, I haven't checked it in a while. Let me check. Oh, it's hit it. It's hit 4,000 views. Hell yeah. And my Star Trek video is at 754 views, which pretty much means it's come to a stop now, but I'm also delighted that it got that many views. I am, of course. I'm currently 4 out of 6 films through the original series movies, so I look forward to making a video about that when I've seen all of them. Here's a preview. I liked the one with the whales. I know some people give it shit. I enjoyed the whales. Here's another preview. I'm pretty damn easy to please all around. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about in terms of a channel is I got 8 subscribers from that video. I forgot that's a metric I can go and look at, and that gave me anxiety because I was like, oh no, do they know that I'm a variety channel and I put out videos that have nothing to do with Star Trek most of the time? But I assume if anyone took a look at my channel before subscribing, they probably figured that out, and if not, then they'll probably just pop off again and it'll be fine. But the thing about having 2 very popular videos is it attracts mostly I mean, I've got the stats that's 99% of people like the video and 1% dislike the video. I'm not saying the people who dislike the video aren't lovely people. You're allowed to disagree with me. Let's get ahead of that. You are allowed to disagree with me, and there are many comments which I have left up of people disagreeing with me, and some that I've replied to hey, yeah, I think you're right, or hey, no, I think you're wrong. But having videos that popular does attract the odd how do I say this politely? Basement dwelling creature. And that's something that I've not really had to deal with much yet. But you know what's great? YouTube has this wonderful shadow banning feature. So I've just decided I'm going to be a fairly vengeful moderator god. And again, I want to get out in front of this. I'm not shadow banning people who disagree with me, but I am shadow banning people who are rude to me. Bye. And I think they can still watch videos and stuff. They just don't know that their comments don't show up, lol. I had one who commented on the Star Trek video who was like, I don't understand how in the same breath you can say that Star Trek is a product of its time, but then also say that it doesn't portray women realistically. Crying, laughing face, like, you fucking idiot, kind of thing. And I was like, buddy, that's because women still aren't portrayed realistically in that show. Bye. Anyway, the Weekly Waypoint is not going to become a platform for me just, like, scoffing at people, don't worry. But I just wanted to throw that out there. People who are rude to me, like, it's not just a purely selfish thing of I can't be asked to deal with you. Like, it is probably, like, 70% a selfish thing of I can't be asked to deal with you. And I would encourage other people to take that same stance on their own channels. But it's also important for, like, if I am continuing to gain subscribers and I'm building some sort of a community, it is so important to prune out, like, the toxic people, I think, because I've seen channels before that have grown really large, and over the years they have just gotten such toxic communities, and it's because they were light on moderating, and they believed that, like, oh, if you just ignore them and, you know, don't feed the trolls, that mentality. But nah, fucking get rid of those people. Again, not for disagreeing with you, but, like, if they like get rude and start, like, attacking you, like, you don't need them, get them out of here. So yeah, the channel grows and I'm delighted, and I slightly dread it as well, because the more it grows, the more people I have to, you know, like, I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't affect my mood when I get a negative comment like that. It does. Let's not pretend it doesn't. I look at my phone and I'm like, oh great, lovely. Like, that affects me. But then there are some that disagree with me and might even be rude that are just funny, like someone on the Good Omens video who was like, what the hell are you talking about? There's no gay stuff in Good Omens. So what show have you been watching? But just in case I'm putting the wrong message across, I am delighted at how the channel is growing, and I hope it continues to do so. We got, I think it's like 42 subscribers over the last 30 days, so sitting at, I think we're currently at like 240 something subscribers. You know, that kind of shows you like how quickly we're growing currently. Which again is nuts, because I'm a variety channel, and I remember back in the day when you would always get less views on videos than you would have subscribers, and that would be exceptionally true, obviously, of variety channels. But the way the algorithm works now, it is sometimes the other way around, and that's delightful as well. I'm very pleased about that. My little hobby is thriving. Also, one last message, I released a new short story this week called Decades at kritigriwrites.wordpress.com. Please go give it a look, I'm very proud of it. Anyway, thank you, I'll see you next week.